Welcome back to ZE Coin, where we uncover the hidden treasures hiding in plain sight right inside your change jar or old coin collections. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most intriguing coins in American history, the 1970 D Washington quarter dollar. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, it's just another quarter, hold on, because what if I told you that one of these tiny coins once sold for a life-changing amount of money? Yes. A coin that most people used for a vending machine snack could actually make you a fortune. So grab your magnifying glass, sit tight, and let's uncover the story behind one of the most fascinating coins the United States Mint ever produced. Scene 1, the birth of the 1970 D quarter. Let's rewind the clock to 1970, a year of massive change in America. The Vietnam War was still raging, the Beatles were breaking up, and the U.S. Mint was busy producing billions of coins for a growing economy. The Washington quarter had already been in circulation for nearly 40 years, ever since its introduction in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday, but the 1970 D struck at the Denver Mint was no ordinary coin. This quarter marks a unique moment in U.S. coinage history. Just a few years earlier, in 1965, the Mint stopped using silver in quarters, switching instead to a copper-nickel-clad composition due to rising silver prices. That change altered not only how coins looked, but also how they aged, toned, and were collected. The 1970 D quarter belongs to this new generation, made of a copper core sandwiched between two layers of nickel, giving it that familiar gray metallic shine. Scene 2, the secret behind the D Mint mark. Now, the D you see just below Washington's neck stands for the Denver Mint, one of the main U.S. Mint facilities known for producing coins for circulation. In 1970 alone, the Denver Mint struck over 417 million Washington quarters. That's a massive number, so why would any one of them be special? The answer lies in the details. Most of these coins went straight into circulation and were used in everyday life. But a few had slight variations, subtle differences in die marks, minting errors, or planchet anomalies, that set them apart. And for collectors, those differences are pure gold. Scene 3, the hidden errors and varieties. The 1970 D quarter doesn't have many recognized major errors like some earlier or later years, but when it does appear with a mistake, oh boy, collectors go wild. Some examples of rare varieties include double die obverse, DDO, where the lettering or details on Washington's face appear slightly doubled, often on the words Liberty or In God We Trust. Off-center strikes, where the design is not perfectly aligned, leaving part of the coin blank. Clipped planchets, when a small portion of the coin's edge is missing due to a blanking error, struck on a wrong planchet, one of the rarest types, where a quarter is accidentally struck on a foreign coin or leftover planchet from another denomination. Each of these mistakes transforms an ordinary 25-cent piece into a potential jackpot for collectors. Scene 4, the mystery of the 1970 D overstrike coin. Here's where things get really fascinating. One of the most legendary versions of the 1970 D Washington quarter was discovered to have been struck over a 1941 Canadian quarter. Yes, you heard that right, a U.S. quarter minted on top of a Canadian coin. Experts believe this happened due to a mix-up at the mint when leftover foreign coin blanks were reused or accidentally fed into the presses. When you look closely under magnification, you can still see remnants of the original Canadian design. Faint traces of King George VI's portrait and the older date, 1941, peeking through beneath Washington's profile. This isn't just a mint error, it's a historical accident, a bizarre blend of two nations' coinage in one tiny metallic disc, and because of its uniqueness, this specific coin became one of the most sought-after modern errors in numismatic history. Scene 5, the journey from pocket change to auction star. The discovery of the overstruck 1970 D quarter sent shockwaves through the coin collecting community. Collectors, dealers, and hobbyists began scouring their change, hoping to find another one. But only a handful of authentic examples have ever been verified, and each time one surfaces, it causes a frenzy. At coin shows and major auctions, these quarters draw intense attention, not just for their rarity, but for the story they tell. They symbolize how a tiny oversight in a massive government mint can turn an everyday object into a piece of history worth thousands of dollars. Scene 6, what makes it valuable? So what gives the 1970 D Washington quarter its extraordinary value? Let's break it down. Rarity. The 1970 D Overstrike and Mint era quarters are exceedingly rare. With potentially fewer than a dozen known, their scarcity fuels intense collector demand. Historical significance. The coin's Overstrike connection to a Canadian coin creates a cross-border story that fascinates collectors worldwide. Condition. As with all coins, condition is everything. Uncirculated or mint state examples with sharp details and minimal wear can fetch significantly higher prices. Authentication. Verified grading by reputable services like PCGS or NGC dramatically increases the coin's market value. Collector demand. The 1970 D quarter has become a symbol of hidden treasures, sparking widespread interest and online buzz among hobbyists. Put all those factors together, and you have the perfect recipe for a numismatic legend. Scene 7. The hunt for the hidden gem. Now, imagine this: you're going through an old jar of coins at home, maybe inherited from your grandparents. Among the dull copper pennies and shiny nickels, you find a quarter dated 1970 with a little D below Washington's head. Your heart skips a beat. Could this be the one? You grab a magnifying glass, tilt it under the light, and inspect the surface closely. You notice faint markings, a ghostly outline, something that doesn't quite belong there. At that moment, your ordinary evening turns into a treasure hunt. That's the thrill of coin collecting. It's not just about money. It's about mystery, discovery, and history. Scene 8, spotting the real deal. But here's the catch: not every 1970 D quarter is valuable. In fact, 99.999% of them are just worth 25 cents. To spot a truly rare one, you need to look for specific details, examine both sides carefully for any signs of overstriking, ghost images, or foreign lettering, check for doubling on the inscriptions or date, look at the edge. An uneven or clipped edge might indicate a striking error. Use a jeweler's loupe or microscope for accuracy. And if you think you found something extraordinary, never clean the coin. Cleaning can destroy its value instantly. Instead, get it professionally graded or appraised by a trusted expert. Scene 9, the auction that made headlines. The numismatic world was stunned when one of these rare 1970 D Washington quarters, struck over a 1941 Canadian coin, was sold at auction for a jaw-dropping amount. Collectors gathered from all over, and bidding was intense. The story behind the coin, its rarity, its flawless condition, and its mysterious origin, all contributed to its immense appeal. When the final hammer dropped, it officially cemented its place in modern coin history. That single 25-cent coin fetched a staggering value of $18,270. Yes, you heard that right. A coin you might overlook in your spare change could be worth more than a brand new car. Scene 10, the legacy of the 1970 D quarter. The 1970 D Washington quarter continues to fascinate collectors to this day. It reminds us that even the most ordinary objects can carry extraordinary stories. It's not just a piece of metal, it's a fragment of history, a snapshot of human error, and a symbol of how tiny details can turn something common into something priceless. For those who love hunting coins, the 1970 D quarter has become a kind of holy grail. It has inspired collectors worldwide to look closer at their change, to notice what most people ignore, and to rediscover the beauty of numismatics. Every scratch, every mark, every letter tells a story that connects us to the past. So next time you get change at the grocery store or dig through your old piggy bank, take a moment to look at your quarters, flip them over, check that date, and see if you spot the magical 1970 D. Who knows? You might be holding a rare piece of American history worth more than you ever imagined, because in the world of coins, one person's pocket change could be another person's treasure chest. Host, smiling. That's all for today's episode, coin lovers. If you enjoyed learning about the hidden secrets behind the 1970 D Washington quarter, hit that like button, subscribe for more amazing coin stories, and share this video with your friends, because who knows, maybe they have a rare coin sitting right under their nose. Stay curious, keep collecting, and always remember, history isn't just in museums, sometimes, it's jingling right in your pocket. And until next time, happy treasure hunting! Where we dive deep into the world of numismatics, the study and collection of coins, and uncover the hidden treasure behind the 1981 United States Washington quarter dollar. Grab your magnifying glass, because this story is going to take you from everyday pocket change to a collector's dream. The year 1981, a time of change and innovation in America. Ronald Reagan had just stepped into the White House, MTV made its debut, and the nation was full of energy and transformation. While music and technology were shaping culture, something else was quietly being minted, the 1981 Washington Quarter. This quarter, like many before and after it, featured the familiar face of George Washington on the obverse side, the man who stood as the first president of the United States and a timeless symbol of leadership. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, this iconic portrait first appeared in 1932 to celebrate Washington's 200th birthday and has remained a national symbol ever since. At first glance, the 1981 quarter seems like any other. It's made of copper nickel clad, weighing about 5.67 grams, and measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter. It doesn't contain silver, unlike earlier quarters from before 1965. But looks can be deceiving, because what truly makes a coin valuable isn't always its metal content, but its rarity, condition, and minting details. Now let's talk about mint marks, those small letters that hold big secrets. The 1981 Washington quarters were struck in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint had its own unique mark. The Philadelphia mint used no mint mark at that time, the Denver mint used a small d, and the San Francisco mint used an S. Philadelphia and Denver produced circulation coins, the ones you might find in everyday change. But the San Francisco mint? That's where the magic often happens. San Francisco produced proof coins, those stunning, mirror-like coins specially made for collectors. Proof coins are struck multiple times with polished dies, giving them that deep, shiny finish. They aren't meant for circulation, which means when you find one, you're holding something made for collectors, and that's where rarity comes into play. To understand why the 1981 Washington quarter can be so valuable, let's look at the numbers. Millions were produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, 601 million and 575 million respectively, making them common for circulation. But the proof coins from San Francisco, bearing the S mint mark, were struck in far smaller numbers, around 4 million pieces. That might still sound like a lot, but not all proof coins survived in pristine condition. Over time, storage issues, handling, and exposure tarnished or scratched many of them. So, what happens when one of these coins remains in flawless condition, perfectly preserved just as it was minted? That's when collectors start paying attention, and paying big money. When it comes to value, collectors look for several key factors: mint mark, condition, strike quality, and errors. Let's break these down one by one. First, the mint mark. As we mentioned, D stands for Denver, S for San Francisco, and no mark means Philadelphia. Generally, the proof coins from San Francisco carry the highest value, especially in perfect condition. Second, the condition or grade of the coin. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, known as the Sheldon scale. A grade of MS 70 or PR 70 means the coin is flawless under magnification, no scratches, no wear, just pure perfection. These top-graded coins are extremely rare and command high prices in auctions. Even small differences in grade, say, from PR 69 to PR 70, can mean a difference of hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Third, the strike quality. This refers to how sharp and detailed the coin's features are. Proof coins often have a deep cameo finish, meaning the background is mirror-like, and the raised design has a frosted look. Collectors prize coins with strong contrast, known as deep cameo or ultra cameo. And finally, errors and varieties, the unexpected gems of the coin world. Sometimes, during minting, mistakes happen. A double die, a filled mint mark, or off-center strikes can transform an ordinary coin into a rare collectible. Some 1981 quarters have been found with interesting minting anomalies, and those variations are where collectors' excitement really spikes. Let's bring it to life with an example. Imagine you have a 1981 S-proof quarter, mirror smooth, with crisp details of George Washington's profile, sharp lettering, and perfect contrast. You send it for grading to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC, and it comes back with a PR 70 deep cameo label. Suddenly, what was once just a 25-cent coin becomes a prized collectible. collectors across the world compete for such pieces, and auction houses have witnessed remarkable prices for top-grade coins. The key lies in rarity, not in how many were minted, but how many survived in pristine, untouched condition. Now, what about the Philadelphia and Denver quarters? While they're more common, there are still rare varieties that can surprise even seasoned collectors. For instance, high-grade uncirculated quarters from these mints, especially with strong strikes and minimal marks, can still bring in impressive sums, but let's not forget another fascinating aspect, the story behind the Washington quarter's evolution. Since its debut in 1932, the Washington quarter has been more than just currency. It represents American history, freedom, and the enduring legacy of the nation's first president. The design remained mostly unchanged until 1999, when the 50-state quarters program began, a series that reignited interest in collecting and brought millions of new hobbyists into the world of coins. The 1981 quarter stands as a bridge between eras, the classic Washington design before the state quarters took over, a symbol of America during a time of transition in the early 80s. It's a coin that captures the spirit of that generation, and for collectors, that historical connection adds another layer of emotional value. Now, let's talk about how to identify if you have one of these valuable coins. Start by checking the obverse side. Look just below Washington's neck. That's where the mint mark appears. If there's a small S, you've got a San Francisco proof coin. Examine it carefully under a bright light. If it has that mirror-like background and frosted portrait, it could be a proof. Handle it only by the edges or wear gloves. Fingerprints or scratches can instantly reduce its value. If you have a D or no mint mark, don't lose hope. Examine its condition. If it appears untouched, has full luster, and no signs of wear, it might be a mint state coin worth grading. You can also weigh the coin to confirm authenticity. It should be exactly 5.67 grams. Counterfeits do exist, especially for rare coins, so always have it authenticated by a reputable grading service if you suspect it's special. Collectors often say, every coin has a story. The 1981 Washington quarter's story is one of hidden beauty, rarity, and time. It's a reminder that even in the simplest objects, something as small as a coin, lies a window to history, craftsmanship, and value beyond imagination. The thrill of finding a rare coin isn't just about the money, it's about discovery. It's about realizing that something sitting quietly in a drawer, a jar, or an old coin album might be far more than it seems. Many collectors have shared stories of finding rare coins in pocket change, yard sales, or inherited collections. Some didn't even realize their value until years later, when they finally looked closely. So the next time you come across a 1981 quarter, take a moment to look closer. Check that mint mark, examine the shine, and think about its journey. From mint presses in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, to your hands today, it's a tangible link across decades. Where we talk about the hidden treasures in your pocket change, those little pieces of American history that could be worth a small fortune today. Now, imagine this, a simple quarter coin, just 25 cents, turning into a collector's dream worth tens of thousands of dollars. Sounds crazy, right? Well, in today's video, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 2002 United States of America Washington quarter dollar coins. You might have one lying somewhere in a jar, your car's cup holder, or tucked away in an old collection, and if you do, you'll want to check it closely, because one of these 2002 quarters has shocked coin collectors around the world with its astonishing auction value. So grab your magnifying glass, sit back, and let's explore the mystery, beauty, and value of the 2002 mint mark Washington quarter dollar. And stay with me until the end, because I'll reveal the exact coin that sold for an unbelievable $60,290. A glimpse into history. Before we get to the big reveal, let's rewind a bit to understand why 2002 quarters are so special. The Washington quarter has been an American classic since 1932, originally created to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first president of the United States. Its design, Washington's profile on the obverse side, was crafted by sculptor John Flanagan, and it quickly became one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. But in 1999, something truly exciting happened in the coin world. The 50-state quarters program began. Each year, 5 new quarters were released, each representing a U.S. state, celebrating their unique heritage, landmarks, and history. By 2002, the series was already wildly popular among collectors, and the mint produced 5 new designs, for Tennessee, Ohio, Louisiana, Indiana, and Mississippi. These coins were minted in Philadelphia, P, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S, with each mint mark holding its own story. Understanding the 2002 mint marks. Let's talk about mint marks, because they play a crucial role in identifying where a coin was made, and often, in determining how valuable it might be. P mint mark stands for the Philadelphia Mint. One of the oldest and largest mints in the USD mint mark represents the Denver Mint, which has produced billions of coins throughout its history. S mint mark, the San Francisco Mint, famous for proof coins. These are beautifully struck with mirror-like surfaces, made especially for collectors. Now, when we talk about the 2002 Washington quarters, the mint mark you find can make a massive difference in its value. Why 2002 is an interesting year. 2002 might seem like just another year in the state quarter series, but it holds a hidden story. By that time, the excitement of the state quarter program was at its peak, and millions of people were collecting them. However, something unusual happened. Fewer of the 2002 quarters were actually released into general circulation compared to the years before. This was because so many people were saving them as keepsakes. The U.S. Mint, noticing this, reduced production numbers, making the 2002 quarters a bit scarcer than the earlier issues. For example, the 2002 P. Philadelphia quarters had a mintage of around 361 million. The 2002 D. Denver quarters had a similar mintage, around 414 million. And the 2002 S proof quarters, made in smaller numbers, were primarily sold in collector sets. While these numbers might sound large, the number of pristine, uncirculated, or error-free coins remaining today is much smaller. And that's what creates the magic of rarity, the art of spotting valuable errors. Now, let's get to the part every collector loves: coin errors and varieties. Sometimes, during the minting process, small mistakes happen, and those mistakes can turn a regular quarter into something truly valuable. Some of the known 2002 Washington quarter errors include double die errors, where parts of the design, like the lettering or Washington's face, appear doubled. These can be quite dramatic and instantly boost a coin's value. Off-center strikes, when the design is not perfectly centered on the coin, leaving blank space along one edge. Clipped planchets, where a small curved section of the coin is missing due to an error in cutting the metal blanks. Missing clad layer, since modern quarters are made of layers of copper and nickel, a missing clad layer can give the coin a golden or coppery look, making it stand out. Collectors love these imperfections because they tell a story, a one-of-a-kind mistake from the mint that slipped through quality control. The 2002 state quarters designs. Let's take a quick tour through the 5 designs of 2002. Each tells a piece of American history. Tennessee quarter, celebrating the state's musical heritage with a guitar, fiddle, and trumpet, symbolizing country, classical, and blues music. Ohio quarter, honoring the Wright brothers and the birth of aviation, with the famous flyer and astronaut imagery. Louisiana quarter, featuring the Louisiana Purchase and a jazz trumpet, a nod to New Orleans' musical legacy. Indiana quarter, displaying a race car and 19 stars, representing Indiana's status as the 19th state and home to the Indianapolis 500. Mississippi quarter, adorned with magnolia blossoms, the state flower known for its beauty. Each of these quarters carries not just artwork, but symbolism, connecting everyday Americans to their shared history through small, shiny pieces of metal. What makes some 2002 quarters worth thousands? So, what sets one 2002 quarter apart from another? It comes down to a few crucial factors: mint condition. Coins that have never been circulated, known as mint state (MS) coins, are much more valuable. The grading scale from the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) or Numismatic Guarantee Company (NGC) ranges from MS60 to MS70, with MS70 being flawless. Errors and varieties. As mentioned earlier, any unusual minting flaw can multiply a coin's worth. Rarity of strike. Some quarters, especially from certain mints or special proof sets, are produced in much lower quantities. Collector demand. Ultimately, a coin's value depends on what collectors are willing to pay. The combination of rarity, beauty, and story makes all the difference, and when these factors align perfectly, that's when the value skyrockets. The record-breaking 2002 quarter. Now, here's the story you've been waiting for. Among the 2002 Washington quarter-dollar coins, one particular piece became a sensation in the coin-collecting world. It was a rare mint-era quarter, struck with incredible detail, preserved in mint condition, and verified by expert graders. What made it stand out was its flawless shine, exceptional centering, and a unique die variety that occurred during production. When this coin hit the auction floor, collectors went wild. It wasn't just about owning a piece of metal, it was about owning a slice of American minting history. After a thrilling bidding war, this 2002 Washington quarter, a coin that once could have been spent on a pack of gum, was sold for a jaw-dropping $60,290. How to check your own 2002 quarters? You might be wondering right now, could I have one of these treasures? Here's how to find out. Check the mint mark, flip the coin and look for the small letter near Washington's ponytail. That's your mint mark, P, D, or S. Inspect for errors. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to check for doubling, off-center strikes, or any unusual surface features. Condition matters. Coins with scratches, dull surfaces, or wear are less valuable, but pristine examples, especially with sharp details, can be worth serious money. Get it graded. If you suspect your coin might be special, consider submitting it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Their certification can officially confirm its authenticity and grade. Tips for coin collectors: even if you don't find a six-figure treasure, collecting coins like the 2002 Washington quarters can still be a fun and rewarding hobby. Here are a few quick tips. Store properly. Use protective holders or albums to prevent scratches or oxidation. Avoid cleaning coins. It might seem tempting to make them shine, but cleaning can actually reduce value. Stay informed. Follow numismatic news, auction results, and collector forums. The market can change quickly. Build a set. Try collecting all the 2002 state quarters, or even the entire 50-state series. It's a great way to learn history through coins. Why coins like these fascinate collectors? Coins are more than currency. They're time capsules, silent witnesses of history, art, and technology. Each Washington quarter, especially from 2002, carries the story of a nation that celebrates innovation, diversity, and unity. From the Wright brothers' first flight to the rhythm of New Orleans jazz, these coins immortalize moments that define America's soul. And sometimes, in that blend of artistry and accident, in a minting error or a perfect strike, lies the magic that transforms an ordinary coin into an extraordinary fortune. The final word. So, the next time you're handed change at a grocery store or dig through that old coffee can of coins at home, take a closer look. That dull little quarter from 2002 could be far more valuable than you think. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and talked about modern coins in American numismatic history, the United States of America 2021 P Mint Mark Washington quarter-dollar coin. Yes, this simple quarter, minted in 2021, has become a shining star in the world of collectors, and you'll soon discover why some of these have fetched unbelievable prices in the coin market. So, stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll know how to identify one, why it's so special, and what makes it worth up to $80,290. Before we get into the 2021 P quarter, let's take a quick journey back in time, to understand why this coin design holds such a special place in American history. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932, celebrating the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first president of the United States. Originally, it replaced the standing Liberty quarter, and its designer, John Flanagan, created an image that would become one of the most enduring and recognized portraits in U.S. coinage. On the obverse, Washington's left-facing profile. On the reverse, for many decades, the image of an eagle, until special series like the 50-state quarters and America the Beautiful programs began to showcase America's landmarks and national parks. By 2021, the Washington quarter had gone through nearly a century of evolution, and collectors were eager for every new detail the U.S. Mint would unveil. Transition, narrator, the year 2021 was particularly special. It marked the final release of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, which ran from 2010 to 2021, a monumental series that honored all 50 states, 5 U.S. territories, and the District of Columbia through beautiful reverse designs, the last coin in that series. The 2021 Tuskegee Airmen National Historic Site Quarter, a tribute to the legendary African-American pilots who broke racial barriers and fought heroically in World War II. But alongside this historical release came the Philadelphia Mint's P version, a regular circulation strike that, on the surface, seemed ordinary, yet, among the millions produced, a handful emerged with rare minting errors, exceptional quality, or unique characteristics that instantly caught collectors' eyes. Magnifying glass tilted left segment 3. The P Mint mark, what does it mean? Musical note, sound cue, soft metallic clinking, narrator, every coin tells a story, and the little letter beneath George Washington's neck is one of the most important clues. That small, P Mint mark stands for Philadelphia, the birthplace of American coinage. The Philadelphia Mint is the oldest U.S. mint facility, dating back to 1792, and it produces billions of coins each year. Now, while that might make you think that a 2021 P quarter is common, here's where the twist begins. It's not just any Philadelphia quarter that's valuable. It's the few that were struck under exceptional conditions, showing flawless luster, perfect centering, or rare minting errors, coins that managed to escape into circulation or survive untouched in mint sets. Gemstone segment 4, the hidden rarity, what makes it worth so much? Narrator, you might be asking, how can a quarter worth 25 cents reach tens of thousands of dollars? Let's break it down. When coins are minted, they are graded by experts on a scale from 1 to 70, known as the Sheldon scale. A perfect score, MS 70, mint state 70, means the coin is in flawless condition, with no scratches, marks, or wear even under magnification. In 2021, a few Philadelphia minted quarters were discovered with such exceptional quality that they were certified MS 67, MS 68, and even MS 69, which is almost unheard of for a circulation strike coin. These coins, due to their condition, instantly became numismatic treasures. Combine that with certain minting errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, or struck-through grease errors, and you get coins that are both rare and historically fascinating. Collectors crave uniqueness, and in the case of the 2021 P. Washington quarter, that craving has driven auction prices through the roof. Narrator, over the past few years, several of these 2021 P quarters have appeared at auctions and private sales. One particularly stunning example, graded at a nearly perfect condition and showcasing a rare die variation, shocked the numismatic world when it sold for a jaw-dropping amount. Collectors were amazed, not because it was an ancient coin, not because it was made of silver or gold, but because it was a modern quarter that had defied all expectations, and the highest recorded sale for a 2021 P. Washington quarter dollar coin has reached an astounding price of $80,290. Yes, you heard that right. A 25-cent coin, minted in 2021, sold for the price of a luxury vehicle or a college education. That's the power of rarity, condition, and collector demand combined. Narrator, now that you know what it's worth, let's talk about how to spot one of these treasures yourself. Here's what you need to look for. Mint mark location. Look closely under George Washington's neck. If there's a small P, that means it was minted in Philadelphia. Obverse condition. Examine the front. The details on Washington's hair, forehead, and jawline should be crisp, sharp, and fully struck. No dullness, no heavy scratches. Reverse details. On the 2021 Tuskegee Airman design, check for strong clarity in the buildings, clouds, and pilot's uniform. Any doubling of the letters or outlines could indicate a valuable double die error. Luster and color. Rare, high-grade coins often have a mirror-like shine or a brilliant, frosty luster that sets them apart from circulation coins. Weight and edge. Every genuine quarter should weigh 5.67 grams and have a reeded edge. Any deviations might suggest a planchet error. Another valuable variation. If your 2021 P quarter stands out for its perfection, or shows unusual features under magnification, it's worth having it professionally graded by organizations like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC. Brain segment 7. Why modern coins are the new gold rush. Musical note. 4 years, coin collectors focused mostly on older silver and gold coins, believing only those had true investment potential, but in recent times, the modern mint era, especially post-2000, has seen a surge of interest in coins with unique errors, low populations, or outstanding condition. The 2021 P. Washington quarter is part of that new wave. Collectors today realize that modern rarities can appreciate dramatically in value because fewer people save them early on. Once they're spent, circulated, and scratched, those pristine specimens vanish, leaving only a handful of perfect survivors. In other words, you could be holding tomorrow's treasure today. The 2021 quarter's design wasn't just beautiful, it was symbolic that IT celebrated the Tuskegee Airmen National Historic Site in Alabama, honoring the bravery and skill of African American pilots who defied segregation and became heroes of the skies during World War II. On the reverse, the coin depicts a Tuskegee Airman pilot standing proudly beside his plane, looking toward the skies, a symbol of courage and determination. Around him, the inscription reads, "That emotional depth is another reason collectors cherish it so much. It tells a story that transcends metal and mint marks." Trophy Segment 9, Tips for Collectors and Treasure Hunters. If you're someone who loves hunting for hidden gems and pocket change, here are a few expert tips. Check your change carefully. You'd be amazed how many rare quarters have been found in circulation. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Subtle details make all the difference. Store your finds properly. Keep coins in holders or plastic flips to avoid damage. Follow online auction results. Sites like Heritage Auctions or eBay show real-time trends in coin prices. Join collector communities. Forums, Facebook groups, and coin shows are excellent places to learn and compare finds. Remember, the thrill isn't just in the money, it's in the hunt, the history, and the discovery. Segment 10, Final Thoughts. The Beauty of Small Treasures. Narrator. The story of the 2021 P. Washington quarter dollar reminds us of something truly powerful. Sometimes, the smallest things can carry the greatest value, not just in money, but in meaning. That a simple coin, shining with history and precision, connects us to centuries of American craftsmanship and pride. And while most quarters will forever be worth 25 cents, a few rare examples stand as reminders that rarity, beauty, and timing can transform the ordinary into something extraordinary. So next time you get change at the grocery store, or you dump a handful of coins into a jar, take a moment to look closer. Who knows? Today, we're diving deep into the world of American coinage to uncover the fascinating story behind one of the most surprising finds in U.S. coin history, the 1997 P. Washington quarter dollar, and why some of them are worth a fortune. So grab your magnifying glass, sit back, and let's go on this journey together. Short montage of 1990s America, billboards, cars, and U.S. Mint footage. Narrator. The year was 1997, a time when the internet was just beginning to take over the world. Pop music was dominated by boy bands, and gas was barely over $1 a gallon. In the world of numismatics, that's the study and collection of coins, nothing too wild seemed to be happening. The U.S. Mint was still striking the classic Washington quarter design, the one that had been in circulation since 1932. But hidden among the millions of quarters struck that year at the Philadelphia Mint, a small number of coins would go on to become collector legends. Narrator. Before we get to the incredible value of these coins, let's first understand what makes a 1997 P quarter special, or at least, what makes some of them stand out from the rest. The design and history. Narrator. The Washington quarter is one of the most recognized coins in American history. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, it features the profile of the nation's first president, George Washington, facing left, with the word liberty above his head and "In God We Trust" beside it. On the reverse, or tails side, you'll see a proud bald eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows and olive branches, symbolizing America's strength and desire for peace. For decades, this design was a constant reminder of American pride, simple, powerful, and timeless. Now, the P mint mark just below Washington's ponytail tells us that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. In 1997, the Philadelphia facility produced over 595 million quarters, a massive number. So at first glance, you might wonder, how could a coin that common possibly be worth more than face value? The secret behind the rarity. Narrator. Here's where it gets interesting. Not every 1997 P quarter is valuable. In fact, the majority are only worth their 25-cent face value, but a select few have something unusual about them, a tiny imperfection, a subtle detail, or a special quality that makes collectors go crazy. These differences are what coin experts call mint errors, or varieties. A mint error occurs when something goes wrong during the striking process. Maybe the die was misaligned, maybe a double impression happened, or perhaps the planchet, that's the blank piece of metal before it becomes a coin, wasn't prepared correctly. Whatever the reason, these errors turn an ordinary quarter into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Types of rare 1997 P quarters. Narrator. Collectors have reported several rare and fascinating versions of the 1997 P Washington quarter. Let's explore a few of them. Point 1. Double die obverse narrator. One of the most desirable types of mint errors is the double die obverse, where the design appears to be doubled, especially around the lettering or Washington's eye and nose. Under magnification, you can sometimes see this doubling effect on the words Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or even on the date itself, 1997. These doubling errors were not meant to happen. But when they do, they create something truly collectible. Depending on the clarity and extent of the doubling, these coins can fetch hundreds, even thousands, at auction. Point 2. Off-center strikes narrator. Another fascinating error is the off-center strike. This happens when the planchet isn't correctly positioned in the coining press, causing the design to be printed off to one side. The result is a quarter that looks lopsided, with a missing rim or an uneven appearance. The more off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. Point 3. Broad strike and die break errors narrator. Sometimes, coins escape the minting chamber without the usual pressure or rim containment. These are known as broad strike errors, and they give the coin a strange, stretched out look. Another category is die breaks or cuds, where cracks form on the minting die, leaving raised lines or blobs on the coin's surface. Collectors adore these oddities because no two error coins are exactly the same, each one is like a fingerprint of history. Point 4. Proof-like and high-grade strikes narrator. Now, not every valuable 1997 P quarter has to be an error coin. Some are simply exceptionally well preserved. When a coin comes off the die perfectly struck, with mirror-like surfaces and no signs of wear, it can receive a high grade from coin grading services like PCGS or NGC. Coins graded MS 68 or higher, that's mint state, are considered nearly flawless, and collectors are willing to pay premium prices for them. In fact, one particular 1997 P Washington quarter in pristine condition, graded at the highest levels, once sold for an astonishing sum that shocked the numismatic world. How to identify a valuable 1997 P quarter narrator. Now you might be thinking, wait, could I have one of these rare coins sitting in my change jar right now? Here's how to check. Look for the mint mark. Make sure your coin has a tiny P just below Washington's hair tie on the front side. That's what makes it a Philadelphia Mint issue. Examine the details. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look for doubling on letters, numbers, or Washington's face. Check the edges. An off-center strike or a broad strike will usually show up as a distorted or uneven rim. Look for unusual features. Extra metal blobs, cracks, or strange textures might indicate a die break or other error. Inspect the condition. If your coin looks nearly brand new, with full luster and no scratches, it could be worth grading professionally. Where to sell or get your coin evaluated narrator. If you think you found a special 1997 P quarter, don't rush to spend it just yet. You can send it to professional grading companies such as the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC. They'll carefully evaluate your coin's authenticity, grade, and potential value. Alternatively, you can visit reputable coin dealers, local coin shows, or online collector communities. Sites like Heritage Auctions, eBay, and Great Collections have active markets for rare quarters, and some incredible sales records. The record-breaking sale narrator. Among all known examples, one particular 1997 P Washington quarter dollar in exceptional mint state condition became legendary. It displayed impeccable surfaces, razor-sharp details, and a beautiful, flawless luster, making it one of the finest ever struck that year. When this coin was put up for auction, collectors from all over the country placed their bids, and the final hammer price left everyone speechless. That single quarter, originally worth just 25 cents, sold for a jaw-dropping sum of $20,270. Yes, one small piece of change turned into a treasure worth more than many used cars. Why coins like this matter, narrator? You might wonder, why would someone pay that much for a quarter? The answer lies in the blend of history, rarity, and perfection. Coins are more than just currency, they're miniature time capsules that capture a specific moment in America's story. That alone gives it historical significance. Combine that with an exceptional grade or minting error, and you've got a piece of American heritage that serious collectors crave. Fun facts about 1997 quarters narrator. Here are a few cool tidbits about the 1997 Washington quarters that make them even more fascinating. Material composition. They're made from a copper-nickel clad, with a pure copper core, no silver content. Weight, 5.67 grams, diameter, 24.26 millimeters, designer, John Flanagan, whose initials, JF, appear under Washington's neck, mint locations, Philadelphia, P, and Denver, D. Despite being ordinary pocket change, these coins carry incredible stories, from minting errors to once-in-a-generation discoveries. Tips for new collectors. Narrator: if this story has sparked your interest in coin collecting, here are a few simple tips to get started. Always handle coins carefully. Hold them by the edges to avoid fingerprints. Store them properly. Use coin flips or protective capsules to prevent scratches. Research before selling. Some online buyers may underpay for valuable finds. Join collector communities. Forums and clubs are great for learning from experienced hobbyists. Keep your eyes open. Treasures can appear in the most unexpected places, even in your pocket change. Final thoughts. Narrator: the 1997 P. Washington quarter dollar reminds us that value isn't always about what's on the surface. Sometimes, history hides in plain sight, waiting for the right person to notice. So the next time you get change at the store, don't be too quick to spend those quarters. Take a moment, flip them over, and check the date and mint mark. Who knows? Maybe you're holding a piece of American history worth far more than 25 cents, and remember, one flawless example of this humble 1997 P quarter once sold for the unbelievable price of $20,270. If you enjoyed today's story, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with your fellow treasure hunters. Every coin has a story. Today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1980 P mint mark Washington quarter dollar, one of those coins that might look ordinary, until you realize what collectors are willing to pay for the right one. So grab your magnifying glass, sit back, and let's uncover why a 25-cent piece from over 40 years ago could be your next treasure find. To truly understand what makes the 1980 P Washington quarter so interesting, let's rewind to the late 1970s. The U.S. Mint was producing billions of quarters, and yet something about this particular year stands out. The 1980 quarter features the iconic portrait of George Washington, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. It was originally created in 1932 to celebrate Washington's 200th birthday, and for decades, this design remained the same, a proud image of the first president on the obverse, with the bold American eagle on the reverse. But the year 1980 marked a subtle shift in U.S. coin production. This was the first time the Philadelphia Mint, which had been striking coins since the 1790s, began adding the letter P mint mark to its coins. Before this, Philadelphia coins had no mint mark at all. So when you see that small P on a 1980 quarter, it tells you that this was one of the first times that Philadelphia proudly stamped its identity onto the nation's currency. Unlike older quarters made of silver, this one is composed of a copper-nickel clad. That's a mix of copper and nickel layers bonded around a pure copper core. The result? A silvery shine on the surface and that familiar reddish hue along the edge when you look closely. It weighs about 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, and a reeded edge, those tiny grooves that give it texture and help prevent counterfeiting or coin shaving. Back in the old days, the obverse, or the front, features George Washington facing left, with the inscriptions, Liberty, and, In God We Trust, around him. Beneath Washington's neck, you'll find the year, 1980, and, just above it, that small but crucial, P, mint mark. On the reverse side, the majestic bald eagle spreads its wings, perched on a bundle of arrows, framed by olive branches, a symbol of America's readiness for peace, but also its strength in defense. Above, the words, United States of America, and below, the denomination, quarter dollar. But remember, what makes one coin worth face value and another worth thousands isn't just the design, it's what's hidden in the fine details. Segment 3, Mint Marks and Rarity. Let's talk about that mint mark again, because it's key to the story. In 1980, quarters were struck at 3 different U.S. mints, Philadelphia, P, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. The Philadelphia Mint produced 635 million coins, the Denver Mint struck 518 million. And San Francisco made a smaller number of proof coins for collectors, around 3.5 million. So with such high mintages, you might think these coins are common, and for the most part, you'd be right. Most 1980 quarters you'll find in circulation are worth just their face value, maybe a little more if they're in excellent condition, but hidden among those hundreds of millions are a few that stand out. coins with rare errors, superior strikes, or near-perfect preservation that make collectors' hearts race. Segment 4, The Mystery of the Valuable 1980 Quarter. Here's where things get really interesting. The 1980 Washington quarter may not contain silver, but certain examples have become incredibly valuable due to their condition, striking quality, and unique minting errors. Some of these special coins were struck with double dies, off-center strikes, or clipped planchets, meaning parts of the coin were missing due to a production mishap. Others are just immaculate examples, so pristine and perfectly preserved that grading agencies like PCGS or NGC give them top-tier grades, MS67, MS68, or even MS69. And in the world of coin collecting, that grading can make all the difference. That a 1980 quarter in worn condition might fetch you 25 cents at your local store, but the same coin in flawless mint state condition can skyrocket in value. Segment 5, Understanding coin grading. If you're new to coin collecting, here's how grading works. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, with MS 70, mint state 70, being a perfect coin, no marks, no scratches, and a flawless strike. Even a single tiny nick can drop the grade and the value significantly. Most coins found in circulation are graded between very fine, VF, and about uncirculated, AU, meaning they show signs of wear and tear, but coins that are uncirculated, especially those that have never been handled or used, can reach mint state levels. And when one of those coins also happens to have a strong strike, perfect luster, and a sharp mint mark, collectors go wild, because out of hundreds of millions struck, only a handful are ever this perfect. Segment 6, The Record-Breaking Sale. Now let's talk about the moment that made coin collectors' jaws drop. A pristine 1980 Washington quarter, graded by Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, once sold for an unbelievable amount, far beyond what anyone expected for a modern, non-silver coin. This particular coin stood out because it had a flawless surface, strong strike, and no contact marks, making it an exceptional mint state example. Collectors and investors alike recognized its rarity, and when it hit the auction block, the bidding war began, and the hammer came down at a staggering final price of $19,270. Yes, that's right. A 25-cent coin from 1980 sold for $19,270. Segment 7, Why it's worth so much. So, why did this happen? How does a simple coin become worth that much? It's a combination of rarity, demand, and condition. The 1980 Washington quarter doesn't have silver or gold, but it represents a unique turning point in American coinage, the first year Philadelphia used its mint mark. Combine that with the fact that so few coins survived in flawless, untouched condition, and you have a perfect recipe for collector frenzy. Coins like these appeal not just to hobbyists but also to investors, museums, and even historians who see them as physical snapshots of American history. Segment 8, Error coins, the hidden goldmine. But that's not all. Some 1980 quarters carry minting errors that make them even more special. Collectors have found 1980 quarters with double die obverse, where letters or numbers appear doubled. Off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing or shifted, clipped planchets, where a small portion of the coin's edge is missing, die cracks or die cuts, which happen when the minting die breaks slightly, leaving raised lines or blobs of metal. These error coins can range in value from a few $100s to several thousand, depending on the visibility and rarity of the error. So if you happen to spot something odd on your 1980 quarter, maybe a missing letter, a shifted image, or an extra outline, don't dismiss it. That small imperfection could make your coin incredibly valuable. Segment 9, How to check if you have a valuable one. Now you might be wondering, how do I know if my 1980 quarter is worth anything? Here's what to do. Look for the P mint mark. You'll find it just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Check the condition. If your coin looks almost brand new, with full luster and no scratches, it's worth a closer look. Use a magnifying glass or microscope. Examine the lettering, especially "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." If you see doubling or distortions, you might have an error coin. Weigh the coin. A standard quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. Anything heavier or lighter could indicate a planchet error. Get it graded. If you believe your coin might be rare, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Their certification not only confirms authenticity but also dramatically increases resale value. Segment 10, why people still love the 1980 quarter. There's something poetic about the 1980 Washington quarter. It's from a decade that represented change, new technology, shifting culture, and a modernized minting process. It's not ancient, not silver, and not flashy. But it tells a story of America entering a new era while still honoring its past. For many collectors, finding one of these coins in pristine condition feels like uncovering a hidden relic, a small, shining piece of the country's heritage, and that's why, decades later, people still search coin rolls, old jars, and estate collections hoping to find that perfect 1980 quarter. Sometimes, the most valuable things are right under our noses. A coin that millions of people spent on gumballs, parking meters, and phone calls in the 1980s might now be worth more than a luxury vacation. Happy ending. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern coin stories in American history, the 2016 mint Mark Washington $quarter coins, and the unbelievable fortune hiding behind certain rare varieties. So grab your coin jars, your magnifying glasses, and your curiosity, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for in your own pocket change. Studio Microphone Scene 2, The Legacy of the Washington Quarter. Before we zoom into the 2016 series, let's take a step back. The Washington Quarter first appeared in 1932, designed by John Flanagan, featuring the iconic bust of George Washington, the nation's first president, on the obverse. It was created to celebrate Washington's 200th birthday and soon became one of the most enduring designs in U.S. coinage. Over the decades, the Washington quarter has evolved, from 90% silver coins minted before 1965, to the copper-nickel-clad coins we see today. But even though silver vanished from their composition, the excitement around collecting these quarters never faded. From the State Quarters series to the America the Beautiful quarters, the designs tell stories about American history, landmarks, and culture. And among them, some rare modern issues have shocked collectors with their unexpected value. Studio Microphone Scene 3, introducing the 2016 quarters. Now let's fast forward to 2016. This was the year the U.S. Mint released a beautiful lineup of America the Beautiful quarters, celebrating national parks and monuments. These included designs like Shawnee National Forest, Illinois, Cumberland Gap, Kentucky, Harper's Ferry, West Virginia, Theodore Roosevelt National Park, North Dakota, Fort Moultrie, South Carolina. Each design carries its own story, its own symbols, and its own potential for hidden treasure, but not all 2016 quarters are created equal. While millions of coins were struck for general circulation, a select few from the Philadelphia, P., Denver, D., and San Francisco, S., mints contain rare varieties, minting errors, and subtle features that make collectors' hearts race, and wallets open wide. Studio Microphone Scene 4, Understanding mint marks and their role. If you look closely at any quarter, just beside George Washington's ponytail, you'll notice a tiny letter, a mint mark. That letter tells you where the coin was made. Tongue sticking out. For Philadelphia, D for Denver's. For San Francisco. Most quarters you find in circulation will have a P or D mint mark. The S coins are often proof issues, struck with a higher quality mirror-like finish, mainly for collectors, but here's where it gets thrilling. Sometimes, these mint marks hide mysteries. A few misstruck, doubled, or misplaced mint marks can transform an everyday coin into a numismatic legend, and in 2016, that's exactly what happened. Studio Microphone Scene 5, Rare Varieties and Errors of 2016, collectors started noticing strange details on certain 2016 Washington quarters. Some had double dies, where the design appears slightly duplicated due to die misalignment during minting. Others showed struck-through errors, off-center strikes, and even missing clad layers, revealing the pure copper core beneath the surface point. One of the most remarkable varieties discovered among 2016 quarters is the Cumberland Gap, double die obverse, where the inscriptions, Liberty, and, In God We Trust, show visible doubling under magnification. And then there are the Shawnee quarters with incredible die cracks and cuts, creating raised lines or blobs of extra metal on the coin's surface. These minting mistakes, though unintentional, make every coin one of a kind. For experienced collectors, such details are pure gold, because rarity and uniqueness drive value. Studio Microphone Scene 6, Why some coins are worth so much. Now, you might be wondering, why would anyone pay thousands of dollars for a coin that still says 25 cents on the back? The answer lies in three main factors: rarity, condition, and demand. Rarity. If only a few of a certain variety exist, collectors will compete fiercely to own one. Condition. Coins graded as MS-68 or higher by services like PCGS or NGC are nearly flawless, with stunning luster and sharp detail. Demand. When the collecting community becomes obsessed with a particular year, design, or era, prices can skyrocket. For example, some 2016 quarters in proof or mint state condition have sold for hundreds, even thousands, of dollars, simply because of small variations or pristine condition. But among them, one stood out, an incredible discovery that stunned collectors and auction houses alike. Studio Microphone Scene 7, the story of the record-breaking coin. The story begins when a sharp-eyed collector from the Midwest was sorting through a fresh roll of 2016 Washington quarters. He noticed something odd, a bold double strike and a unique minting flaw that seemed to set this coin apart from every other he'd ever seen. Curious, he sent it off for professional grading. When it returned from PCGS, the label confirmed what few could believe: this was a major mint error, a near-perfect specimen that shouldn't have existed in circulation. When this extraordinary 2016 quarter hit the auction block, bidding wars erupted. Collectors from across the country placed offers, driving the price higher and higher. The energy was electric, and by the end of the night, this humble piece of pocket change shattered expectations. That single 2016 Washington quarter, bearing its mint mark and unique flaw, was sold for an astonishing $70,290. Studio Microphone Scene 8, how you can find one too. Now, here's the exciting part. That incredible coin wasn't discovered in a museum or by an expert numismatist. It was found by an everyday person, just like you. That means you could still find one. Here's what to look for when examining your 2016 quarters. Check the mint mark. Look for the tiny letter beside Washington's hair ribbon. P and D quarters are the most common, but S proof coins are highly collectible. Inspect the design carefully. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look for signs of doubling, cracks, or areas where the image seems shadowed. Check for off-center strikes. If the design isn't perfectly aligned, or if the rim looks uneven, you may have a valuable mint error. Look for missing layers. If the surface seems coppery or discolored, it could be missing its nickel-clad layer, a rare manufacturing issue that increases value dramatically. Examine the lettering and motto. On varieties like the Cumberland Gap, doubling is often most visible in the text, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty." If you find any of these signs, don't spend that quarter. Handle it carefully by the edges, store it in a coin flip or plastic case, and consider sending it to a professional grading service for evaluation. Studio Microphone Scene 9, Coin Grading and Authentication. Grading is an essential step in determining a coin's value. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, where MS-70 represents a perfect, flawless coin. MS-60 to MS-65, good mint state, slight marks but still sharp. MS-66 to MS-68, high grade, brilliant coins with few imperfections. MS-69 to MS-70, virtually perfect, museum quality specimens. A common 2016 quarter in your change might be worth face value, 25 cents. But that same coin in pristine condition, with a unique minting error or doubled die, could soar in value when graded by PCGS or NGC. Collectors often submit coins through authorized dealers or grading clubs, ensuring authenticity and professional certification, the key to unlocking full market value. Studio Microphone Scene 10, the thrill of modern coin collecting. Coin collecting today isn't just about dusty albums or ancient silver. Modern coins like the 2016 quarters prove that even coins less than a decade old can hold incredible secrets and astonishing worth. Social media groups, online auctions, and collector conventions have reignited the excitement for hunting modern mint errors. Thousands of enthusiasts now examine their change daily, hoping to be the next lucky person to uncover a hidden treasure worth tens of thousands. And the best part? You don't need special equipment or a big budget to get started. All you need is curiosity, patience, and a keen eye. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes, that story ends in life-changing discovery. Studio Microphone Scene 11, final thoughts and motivation. So next time you get change from a store, don't just toss those quarters into a jar. Take a moment to look closer. Every scratch, every shine, every tiny letter could be a clue. because who knows, that ordinary 2016 Washington quarter sitting in your pocket right now might be one of the rarest in existence, and if history has taught us anything, it's that hidden treasures often appear where we least expect them. Remember, it's not just about luck, it's about awareness, curiosity, and the thrill of the hunt. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting your numismatic journey, every coin you find carries a little piece of American history, and maybe, just maybe, a fortune waiting to be discovered. So keep searching, keep learning, and keep your eyes open, because the next legendary coin might be in your hands right now.